been going on while shenanigans have been happening in the caster booth. A nice little poke composition that is coming into fruition, though, for APHRO, Ziggs, and Jace making up the core of it, whereas the other side, Superiority answered back with Kaisa and Camille, and a little bit of frontline to round off our core for APHRO.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so what we have from APHRO is something that is similar to what we saw in the first game, where first series, I should say, where you are going to have a lot of poke. And so Jason Ziggs are going to be very, very strong. And so we need to see from APHRO is potentially one more tank. And I would actually like to see a pretty high priority on Vi here, because she can play engage as well as kind of being that person that is able to finish off kills. That's something like a Ziggs or a Jace will be able to set up. So for now, for Superiority, I think their focus should be getting rid of assassins and getting rid of champions that can really provide a lot of value for what APHRO has. And actually, I think if you want to try to match range for range, that's something you can do. Otherwise, keep going for more dive. I love the Kaisa, I love the Camille and the Akali. Just want to see maybe something like that Gragas to be able to help them get to that point, get those dives underway.
Yeah. And right now, I would imagine you want to take away champions that can enable those dives even further. Nautilus, already great champion that just enables the initiation so easily. You just hold that ultimate button and then click and drag over and say, oh, I want to knock up this guy. I want to knock up this guy instead. And that will always guarantee at least the initiation being started up. Whereas on the flip side for Superiority, they're trying to take away some jungle picks since they have still not locked in one for APHRO.
So all I'm hearing is that we're also putting Nautilus in the lick screen territory. He is a lick screen gamer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. A lot of accessibility. A big part of the phones is that, you have more accessibility than a keyboard and mouse. There are a lot more tools that you can try to use if you're maybe, like impaired in your hands. You can still like play with certain different like implements. Next one up, Rafa. We've got it. We've got the marketing down. You can just lick your screen and you're good to go. Wild Rift, friendly even for pets.
Hey, and look at that. Speaking of screen lickers, Xin Zhao. Boom.
Okay, this champion requires at least a little bit more. Like you have to at least aim. Like you gotta like get the angle right so you can land the second ability.
The aim stuff, we're kind of down. We're downplaying the skill.
Jarvan players don't, for sure. Jarvan players do not have to aim anything. Hey, no, I trust. I don't trust those guys to hammer a nail into a wall. Okay. Like that's fine. We got some of what I wanted. We're getting potentially the Gragas. I'll hold off as that is being hovered, but the Olaf can act as a, I don't want to say an assassin, but in the similar manner where he is just charging through all of your crowd control. Anything you have to stop him, he is running right past it and getting those kills that Jace and Ziggs are setting up. So now we have our front line. Now the response here for the side of Superiority. What is going to be your engage? We wanted to talk about more dive, more of them trying to force the issue up against this team. You need someone who's able to break that front line or potentially stop Alistar and Gragas. I'm interested to see what we get from Superiority, as I think there's a lot of options and maybe some champions I'm not thinking of.
Set. Well, the nice thing about Set is that you can at least punt one frontline member back into the enemy team, and you can also use that health stack against them if they are, buying a lot of HP items, as you do a lot more damage with the showstopper, the more burly and beefy the guys are. But one thing that I do want to point out is how tactful this Jarvan ban was for the side of APHRO. Clearly, as you guys may not see it yet on the draft screen, I'm not sure if the players' names comes up, but we do have a roster swap or a roster substitution. Reaper went from jungle into the mid lane, and they now have Til Patio, who is now coming into the jungle. And if this Olaf pick was something that was premeditated, then clearly they needed to make sure that the one counter that makes Olaf very freaking sad is a Jarvan. Because once you're in the Cataclysm, you can't just baby rage Ragnarok out of the cage. You're just stuck in there forever. But now...
That's why the Ezreal's there, man. So we don't have the jumping over the wall.
True. So, now there's virtually nothing that can stop this Olaf from being able to just run his way through the entire squad and hunt this Kai'Sa down.
Yeah, couple of options that they can try to go for, right? Like, Set can try to get away from Olaf by ulting him during his Ragnarok. It won't pull Olaf over, but it will mean that Set can kind of use it as like a mini jump over a wall or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Similar with the Akali. There are a lot of ways on this Superiority team for them to actually mitigate some of what Olaf wants to do in terms of auto-attacking, but we do actually have to see what that execution is going to be. What is this home guards animation?
Oh, that's Pog.
Dude, he's just stanced up. He's Mewtwoing on them for no reason. Bro, he's just floating at them.
Yeah.
It's like Dragon Ball thing. He's just... Respect. And he's actually staying here for an early gank. Now, we saw this before with the Karma. Oh, that face breaker does not quite land, but there's a lot of strategies you can do with level 1 support because of... Usually, there's not a lot of kill threat in early game, especially for a Ziggs. There's not much there in the early game, especially level 1, level 2.
Yeah. Was unable to find any action. Wait, he's just gonna run into Reaper's face. I mean, Luciel,
he's my goat, man. Look at this.
But look how calm Reaper is playing because he knows that Ramita was there to answer the roam as well. Just headbutts Luciel right back in the face. So they should be able to contest for Prio as Luciel is still on a mission. This really does look like early Wild Rift, and we just had supports roaming right from the get-go and do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, laning phase doesn't matter. Laning phase takes 2 seconds, and look, 115, 117, 120. All right, cool. Lane phase is over, guys. Great job. Set is able to roam. These two are not going to be able to really kill each other. There is a small window for Gone when he does have level 5 to be able to get on top of Ziggs and force a flash. That'll be something that we have to watch out for. But I mean, as long as you have Ziggs, you know he's going to be farming. You know that these two champions are going to get to their item spikes, and why not just try to influence the rest of the map? We talked about how pivotal some of these other members are going to be, especially a Jace. That's something that they're going to want to focus on. And when you have a Camille, you don't want to have to deal with an AP Gragas. You don't want to have someone that's going to be an engage point, something that's going to be able to deal damage and disrupt your backline. Just get these lanes off to a really good start early on. That's what we see so much focus early on.
Yeah. Potential collapse coming in from Hexaton, who was able to get the wave shoved in alongside Del Patio in his back pocket. And we're not able to cut off Luciel on his way to rotate back on over, as now there's just a lot of protection trying to help Kamaji get wave control against Reaper and Ramita. But now all 3 members, both jungle, mid, and support, all ready to dual action as they take them looking to the face of Vox as Vox is forced to flash away. Thankfully, the Crescent Guard keeps him also alive.
That's one of the reasons Crescent Guard is so fun to use. There's, especially with how much range, it is forcing APHRO to have to engage, commit to the idea of trying to kill this out. And so Vox able to escape, goes back to clearing some of his jungle, and we're not going to see too much action, I imagine, until that Rift Herald starts to spawn. We also have the Mountain Drake here, so it's something that they can try to contest, but now that they all have their ultimates, except for maybe our supports, we are looking at them to really start to get mixy as they get more and more abilities, and items will be nice, but these champions that are in the game right now, a lot of them have very strong base kits, so we want to try to abuse that like we see here. Kamaji, the focus of APHRO here, as Ramita is sitting in mid lane, and I love that we just get our mid support 2v2s. This is definitely something very normal.
Yeah, I think the way that Kamaji popped off in Ezreal, APHRO, they took it personally, and they're really trying to keep him down from being able to pop off in this time. And the nice little alley-oop combo that Reaper and Ramita had, forcing Kamaji's early perfect execution, means that they're now down an assassination pool, and they have less pressure to work with on this scout.
It's always so hard to try to play Akali versus an Alistar, just because Alistar can stand in the middle of your shroud, and then suddenly you're like, ah, I'm getting owned. This sucks. So look at this. They're just taking the mid priority. They're moving it straight on into the Baron lane.
More ownage to be occurred here for Vox, and no flash this time around, as he already burned it in the previous skirmish, and the Crescent Guard is not going to keep him alive this time because it is first blood for Del Patio.
And they can go for a dive on this Baron wave. I love that Ramita is trying to stay here, keep them under the turret. However, WTCL has made his way on down, or made his way on up. Looks like Ramita, oh, it's a flash. He's able to get out. But this is a huge win for APHRO if they're able to get away with this. As you already see, Jace is getting alone time in the Dragon lane. Ziggs is doing now roamed on up or shifted into this mid-wave. Got a lot of damage onto Kamaji as well. So a great job from APHRO all around the map. And so far, Superiority have not really been able to catch their breath or find an answer in opposite.
At this point in the game, Alec, both of the objectives have spawned. We're going to see where both teams are going to take their focuses. It is a mountain dragon, so yay. No ice dragon, no ocean dragon. Our analysts who are very excited about this one. Now the Rift Herald looks to be the focus. Who's going to secure it? It is taken out by the Patio, and again, you get out alive. The Ignite is taking him down, but he's able to walk on out. Strut ass, baby. And now we got the rest of the fight happening in the Riverside. Weasel is able to make his way out, and they're distancing themselves away as they already found a killing blow on the Kamaji. And no answer or real response really found by the rest of the members of Superiority. Finally, they find one back onto Reaper. The Rift Herald is going to make its crash into the mid lane, and the explosive cast breaks up the fight. They look down onto Luciel. There's an answer back from Gone as he finds one on the Ramita, but man, oh man, APHRO have come to play. They do not want this one to be ended in 2-0. They wanted to go to 3. One shot, gonna find Weasel though. They overextended, but it still makes it out alive. Oh, it's another banger on our hands.
Okay, well, I mean, Kamaji just he doesn't have the items right now to really be able to influence the rest of these fights, and so we're seeing Superiority just continue to fall. Now, Reaper is here. You are not playing Lee Sin this time. You are not playing jungle. You do not have a smite button. I might try to chase them out from this objective, but you look across the board. I mean, Ziggs loved that fight. No one from the side of Superiority was able to deal with this Ziggs the entire time, and I loved how we got to see kind of the in and out, the weaving of both players and also their abilities here coming out from APHRO that kept Superiority locked in after that Rift Herald play. So now we're going to see it. They've opened up one part of the map. They've gotten this mid-tier 1. I want to see them then use this pressure to open up other sides. Ziggs will never be under threat of kind of losing the mid-shove. He will always, at best, go even now that he's used the ultimate. And I kind of wanted to see what they were going to do on side lanes with the Ziggs being able to help, but all they're doing is using this to allow for Del Patio to move into other sides of the map and reinforce specifically Reaper here.
Yeah. Reaper is kind of putting out some damage at the moment. He may not necessarily have the prettiest score line, but the gold line do not lie. And between him and Hexaton, it's going to be crucial to getting and laying down that poke before those objectives come up. We still have some time to chill before the next round of Dragon. It's just one dragon. I don't know why I was getting excited. I was like, oh yeah,
it's just Mountain Dragon, man. Look, okay, we've got Infernal. Wait.
No, that's
okay.
Augers. Holy.
I know. The analysts will be very happy about this. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking very forward to it.
I like how the analysts are basically taking the role of like the critics from the Muppets. So it's like, oh yes, they will be very pleased this time, and they come in and it's like, nah, still not good. No. I love her analysts.
They'll have something else. That's that's their job. I love that for them. Okay, we are forcing on this side of the play. We do no damage, guys.
Huge showstopper, though, is able to find one back on the Reaper. Can they get the dive down? Del Patio being able to swing his axis righteously and justly so. Finds one back on the one shot. And it looks like Vox just might be left for the Wolves. The flash away, we still already using the body slam as he tries to dash right back on out. The slow from the audacious charge, but it is the barrel that is going to find the killing blow. And now
they don't know Ramita's here.
Oh, gone. Just might be gone for this world as Ramita's gonna flash on forward, looking for the stun as well. The axe and the reckless swing from Del Patio. Goodbye, Gone. You, unfortunately, there is one too many members left in the bush.
Yeah, so about that game 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4,000 gold at 9 minutes. They don't have the dragon objective, but like, just look at the rest of the gold. Like the gold is just way too heavy. It is in favor of Weasel, so maybe there's something for them to be able to do, but right now they're they're both misexecuting, and also just like the actual timers that I think Superiority are trying to take are really wrong. Like, there's no interesting flank angles. There's nothing where Kamaji is trying to get into the back line. It is just almost always around this Olaf. And there's nothing for them to deal with this champion unless someone like Gon or One Shot is there with, you know, like the Divine Thunder. That is going to be Ludiciel almost going down. Thank you to the Stone Plate for helping us live. But, I mean, like, Kamaji actually just deals 0 damage in this instant. So, this champion's useless. Xin Zhao is very useless at this point. One Shot is getting close to maybe being a real champion because he does have the Divine Thunder, but aside from that, I mean, Weasel could also just go for the solo.
Getting close to that breaking point. Explosive Cash should do enough damage here, but you know what? They're just going to add Reaper into the tower for good measure. Goodbye, One Shot. Goodbye, Baron Tier 1. Vox is here, but, you know, there's not much that he can really do to answer back on this. Now we're staring down the barrel of a 7,000 gold lead for the side of APHRO Z3. And much to Blaziken's prayers, we may just have that game 3 coming our way soon.
I think it's coming. I think the game 3 is on its way.
It's coming.
Express delivery. It is more than certain. Unless we see another Baron into Elder trade, then maybe we can get something spicy. But give me an Elder Drake. They're already far ahead enough at this point from the side of APHRO, but getting an Elder Drake to try to enhance some of those combat capabilities is just gonna feel like a cherry on top. As now they move in, they grab the mid priority. They can go for some resets, as you're already starting to see some of those recalls. The Baron is spawning in 45 seconds. That is something that they can try to go for here, as hey, the Baron will really help with being able to set up the Dragon, or setting up the rest of this map. They still have the Ziggs to be able to take down turrets. I'm very sad with what we get our Dragons here. I'm definitely calling this Ocean Drake a phone licker. You know, that is the phone licker champion, or a phone licker dragon. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, to flip sides or to flip perspectives here, Gilbatio. This is the new roster substitution they made. They took Reaper off the jungle handle, swapped him mid, and put this new guy in. And he's doing a pretty damn good job so far on the Olaf. He's not involved in this fight quite yet, but he is terrifying to fight up against. One of the few members that is deathless so far, Divine Thunder and Steris Gage. And this guy is going to be very, very difficult for the members of Superiority to take down.
And not only that, but then you look like, okay, we killed Olaf. It took 3 of us, but we killed Olaf. I pressed the scoreboard screen, and there's still a 3-0-5 Gragas that's going to one-shot me. Oh god, there's still this Ziggs that no one has been able to deal with this entire time. So the mid jungle has been doing a fantastic job. We saw how much you know, attention went on in from both sides here, but it has been so far the jungler of the kind of new jungler so far of APHRO really stepping up in this second game, bring home at least a win here for the series. And Lucille, 07 salute, actually able to walk away. I love this set champion so much.
Oh wait, maybe a potential re-engage, and the Ziggs. Hexaton is found out by Kamaji, and this could be Ramita also going down, but Kamaji's already used both casts in perfect execution, but they found Reaper on the back end of it. Dilbatio and Weasel were going for the dive of their own, being able to find one shot under the tower. But this is a nice answer and response overall from the side of Superiority.
Ooh, I wonder if they were going to keep chasing to try to see if maybe they would try to stay. Maybe try to slow chase them out. I think for the side of Superiority, they recognize how bad the situation is right now, and so they need to get scrappy. They need to get a little bit cheeky with what they're looking for engages. That showstopper hits the wall. Okay, maybe they find Ramita.
Gonna be close. Not quite.
Oh,
the Void Seeker. Oh, doesn't
okay, the Void Seeker, that one wasn't gonna land, but I swear, I don't know. I love how there's like 2 different Void Seekers in League of Legends PC. Void Seeker has a really dumb hitbox. It's huge. On Wild Rift, I have seen this thing like straight up graze people, and it has done 0. So I feel bad for all the Kai'Sa players. I mean, it's obviously got a really dumb range for how small this map is, but
yeah,
still, I feel bad because there's been a lot of them so far just in this series alone where or in the last series where I was like, that should have hit. That should have been hit, and that should have been a kill, and it just doesn't happen. So I'm really sad about that, but now we've got the Baron spawning, we've got the Dragon spawning in about a minute and a half at this point, and gotta be so careful here because this should be APHRO's objective to take to win the game. However, there are still some tools, a sliver of them still exist here for the side of Superiority. What is this set champion, man?
I don't know how they managed to survive almost every damn time, but man, oh man, it takes almost just about everything. Gargo stone plate and using a well-timed haymaker shield. Still making it out.
Okay. I mean, not much came of that. There was not a lot of summoner spells used in that instance from either side, so kind of a big nothing trade. The fact that Ludiciel has only died once this game feels weird to say. They have come very close. I'm okay with that though, because this walking mode is so cool, man. Just it's like being carried by Mr. Hands from Smash the entire time, but way more chill.
What skin is that? That's one I.
That's like the one that's like has the Z skin, I think. Oh, okay, Dragon. Dude, he has huge ass biceps. Look at them. That's so
cool. Was already kind of ripped. I mean, that's just like that's just unreal kind of level.
It's really unfair that they just keep letting Set keep pack like that. Like you just keep packing. It's really weird. So for the time being, this is a small moment of reprieve. Any moment that when you're ahead as APHRO that you're not immediately trying to apply pressure onto your opponent is one where you're saying, okay, we're giving them some time. Hold up now.
A huge fight. Ludiciel takes a lot of damage once again, but the stone plate is able to keep himself alive. We said looking in for the bomba. Doesn't find much, but they do isolate Vox away from the rest of the team. Ludiciel gets right back in there.
Good job, Vox.
Regen some of his HP, and Vox is able to survive. Somehow, no one goes down on either team here, but a lot of space has been bought, and this Baron can be easily taken out.
They're going to start this up. No one's in position to really answer this, so bit of a tough spot now, because now you're going to have Baron. They're going to be able to reset. Okay, Ludiciel actually pulls him out. They got him.
And the Baron
no way.
They have to drop aggro. They don't want to give it up for a 50-50 easily. Somehow Superiority or found a miracle off of Ludiciel, just being able to punt deal right out of the pit itself. The only death that has been had. Huge damage from Exiton. Able to finally find Ludiciel, the constant thorn in the side of APHRO Z3.
It's so funny that the exact interaction that I was talking about that was like, hey, Set usually doesn't use the Showmaker because of the fact that like you just don't use the Set ultimate on Olaf because hey, like Olaf just presses Ragnarok and he's pulling no one. But in that instance, Ragnarok was down. He pulls Olaf over the wall, and immediately we see Superiority are able to find that kill, and it stops the Baron. Now, this gold lead is still a huge problem for them to deal with, but they're grabbing turrets, the Elders spawning in 15 seconds, and that will be a much more important objective as we start to look at this game. I don't want to say that this game is quite out of the hands of APHRO because they've done so much work to get to this point, and you look at their items, they should be, you know, the favorites to close out this game and send us to a game 3 in this series. However, so far execution-wise, we have been able to see spots of hope here for Superiority, and we look across, Gone is now on 3 items, same thing here for Kamashi. They can get into the back line. That is a huge threat for APHRO to deal with.
And now that Elder is spawned, it's not just a simple, oh, we must go Baron every single time. You have to now take respect to the Elder being alive here. Showstopper right onto Dilbatio as he pops the Ragnarok, but now he might be exposed here. They're looking to try to lock him down here, but we saw he's already popped one. Kamaji into the backline, but he's getting eviscerated by the rest of the damage from APHRO Z3. And APHRO quickly dashed away what could have been a bright light and a shining hope from the members of Superiority as they take down Vox through the GA twice in a row. Ludiciel, the last member standing, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for APHRO as they look to just lay down the pain and ram this one in. Yes, I said it out. Yes, I said it, Piers. We're going to game 3, boys.
Okay, well, I was wondering what happened because One Shot just walked into that fight with half HP and died instantly. So, a pretty interesting turn of events and probably a team fight that they're going to have to go back and watch. But that is going to be our second game of the series. And like you were saying, we're headed to a game 3. Loser of that one's going to have to play tomorrow in the 3rd place match up against Believers. But anyone could kind of win this one. And I'm glad that this was a series that we could try to end the stream off on, because we got hyped on it. We got sold on it by Blaziken and from Pierce. But now I'm interested. I'm fully locked in. I'm ready to go, and I kind of want to see if we get more of Lucille on this set, because there's a lot of moments where probably